In 2020, are you prepared to delve deeper into the world of Tesla stock splits? 2 years after Tesla shares split 5 for 1 at a price of $2,000. 2 years later, in 2022, it split 3 for 1 at a price of $900 per share. However, what have I told you? Like Morpheus in the Matrix, that the next stock split might occur as soon as 2024. What if I told you that using knowledge of stock splits, there might be a method to strategically buy shares in order to cash out? In this video, I'll go into the realm of Tesla stock splits and uncover some fascinating details about the company's strategy, such as its inclination to stay away from 4-digit stock values. I know it sounds too good to be true, but trust me, their intended price range, as we mentioned 2 years ago, in August of last year, 2022, the stock split 3 for 1 for $900 a share. What if I told you the next stock split is coming within 12 months? I realize it sounds ridiculous, and I don't expect many of you to believe me before we get into projections and figures. After the split, we'll cover it all, and if that's not enough, we'll also look at projections for Tesla's production and delivery statistics. But before we go there, smash that like button and subscribe. I wanted to share with you some insights I found out about how Tesla handles stock splits. The first time the company split, the price per share was $2,000. The second time, the price was almost exactly $1,000. This suggests that the company is saying, yes, we don't want to see Tesla stock in the 4 digits, which is consistent with their past stock price preferences. Although it's great that Google and Amazon split $20 for 1 share, I still think it's silly to have shares valued in the thousands. Instead, I predict that Tesla will split its shares in the high hundreds. I'm betting on $800 a share. The base of its range is approximately $300, so this is a pretty interesting fact to take into consideration. In this video, we'll look more closely at these rules. According to initial estimates, there will be 14 million new cars on the road in 2030. I know it's supposed to be 20 million, and I agree that it will be. But I don't think it will happen by 2030, probably 2032 or 33, just to be safe. Since we don't have FSD subscription numbers, and we don't know how many customers are paying for it each month, we're going to assume that 15 of all newly sold vehicles will convert to, or pay the full $15,000, or whatever amount FST will be. Let's start with an EPS prediction of $45 for 2030. Some may view it as bullish, but I don't think that's justified. I believe that Tesla's performance will shock us as early as this year. It will be completely insane. So, whenever you guys are ready, let's figure out what the stock prices would be and when they'll split. We know the answer for 2022 is 50 pay, or nearly $201 per share, but the PE for 2023 is currently at 60. We're still in a bear market, so a PE of 60 is pretty impressive. Therefore, I'm going to predict a PE of 60 for 2020 and 2023 as well, because it's likely that we'll be in a bull market by the end of this year, or at least halfway through. I hope that by then, inflation will have decreased, interest rates will have gradually paused, or perhaps even lowered, since the Fed constantly pivots on these issues. You know what the trigger will be for the next bull market, the Fed in a year, or, alternatively, a 12-month target, according to Gary Black. A stock price of $370 per share would indicate an astounding PE of 74, which is absolutely absurd, and would value the company at $1.2 trillion. I believe that a PUF 50 would correspond to a stock price of about 400. But if we're in a bull market, the market could become irrational, as we saw during the bear market. For example, stocks like Tesla, Meta, and Netflix have dropped by 80%. Given that these companies are money printing machines, why must their stocks fall by 80%? Fear, not any math or forecasts, is the basis for any of this. Everyone is selling out of fear, so in a bull market, you buy, I buy, he sells, and so on, rising in the event of a stock split. Since companies such as Tesla usually trade in the low hundreds or low 200s, it is easy to predict that the stock price of the company will increase by a factor of 4. Now, if you want to write this bull market off, the price per share will probably be lowered in 2025 to about 818 or 70 pesos. Additionally, following a stock split in 2026, the price per share could, just to be cautious, drop to $960 or $240 on a 4 for 1 basis. Lastly, in 2027, the price per share could drop to $250 or $273 on a 35 for 1 basis. Personally, I don't think Tesla stock will be in the $30s unless there is another big drop similar to the one we experienced earlier this year, or possibly in late 2022. A share is worth $290 and 30. And if you want to give it up of 27, you could estimate that by 2030, after taking into account all of the splits, the price per share will be $302, assuming no significant innovation occurs that could propel the price of Tesla stock to even higher heights. Let's see if my prediction that the average price for this ticket will be in the mid-50s is correct. I also believe that during the next decade, the price per share will be in the low 30s. When will I genuinely feel the need for a stock split? Let's go back to 2023 and set my goals. I'm aiming for a 60p of 300 per share. Based on my calculations, the stock price in 2024 will be around 400 with a PE of 50. It will likely be approximately 700 with a PE of 40 in 2026, compared to 45 in 2025. So if we keep things from being in either a bull market or a bear market, but rather at a base market, I think that either year between 2026 and 2027 could see the first announcement of a stock split. So yeah, around 2026 and at about a $2.5 trillion market cap, there were probably a stock split. Musk said he believed there were some Mexican officials there, but he did not mention their names or titles. Thomas said that since the new facility is essential to Tesla's operations and Mexico's economic future, it was insulting to treat these officials indifferently. He could have called them by name and shown greater appreciation for their collaboration. Winton thinks Tesla has a lot going for it in the next years if it can advance its self-driving technology, which might result in higher stock prices and rising demand. Additionally, he thinks that the company's performance following the closing of the stock market on January 25, 2023, will be revolutionary. Tesla released its quarterly and annual financial reports, which concluded on December 31. During the quarter, the automobile segment brought in $21.3 billion in revenue. Investors may be concerned because the company's automotive gross margins, which were 25.9%, were the lowest in the previous 5 quarters. Tesla just released their Q4 2022 financial results. With $24.32 billion in revenue, the corporation earned $1.19 per share. Even with the recent setbacks, advancements are unquestionably ahead of us as one of the major marketplaces internationally. Tesla, thanks to geographically diverse production, is continually headed toward an even higher growth in vehicles in transit at the conclusion of the quarter. Tesla is almost ready to produce more than 1 million cars a year at its Shanghai factory. Although I am betting on the company splitting its stock at least twice this decade and twice more in 2030 depending on growth, one thing I do know is that if Tesla splits its stock around these prices, roughly 200 to 300, it will probably not be a last time in the long run. In the bullish case, Tesla could split its stock as early as the next year, 2024, most likely at the end of 2024. But I think this is highly unlikely. Instead, the next time I'll do a stock split is when the stock trades between $500 and $600 per share, so it may peak around the end of this decade or early in the 2030s. To be honest, I believe 2026 will be the sweet spot. Although stock splits are always difficult to predict, it makes sense that Tesla would want to keep its stock price at 3 figures since that keeps the shares accessible to the average person. Let's see how well this prediction plays out in the years ahead, but I think it will hold its ground well. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.